Hello again. For those of you following the Ecat, I think one thing you have to get used to, if you haven't gotten used to it already, is that in this story there's often been long periods of waiting for things to happen. I have started following the Ecat back in 2011, and I hoped that it would be quite soon before we would see the Ecat in the marketplace. And I thought it would happen in 2011, actually. Initially, I thought, surely he's got it to a point where he can put in a factory. But I think what has been a very difficult problem for Rossi to deal with over the years is having a stable reaction. Initially, the Ecat was a heater, and I don't think it was a reliable heater. I don't know all the complexities that he had to deal with, but I know that it was often take hands-on attention to keep the Ecat stable. I remember there was a 1-year test which he did in a warehouse in Florida where he was running a huge Ecat heating system, and he had to be on hand almost all the time to kind of baby this machine, and he was doing some kind of a validation test at the time, so he was determined to make it succeed, but it was something that needed hands-on attention, and you can't do that with a commercial device. You've got to be able to let it operate on its own. So I think that's been a large part of his research and development, is to get the Ecatness into a stable situation. And I think he has accomplished that now, especially now he's not worrying about heat. It's now an electricity generator. And I think one of the most important things that he's been able to do is to develop an automated control system, so that the Ecat does not either fizzle out, or it doesn't overheat, or whatever. It doesn't run away. The reaction doesn't run away. I think that's been a large part of his task. So, but we are now in another period of waiting. One of the good pieces of news recently is that Rossi has said that he's not now dependent on generating the 100 megawatts of pre-orders that he initially had said would be necessary to start the commercialization. Now he says that the new partner that he has teamed up with and basically turned over the commercialization to, with them on board, then that pre-order threshold has been met, which I think is excellent news, because I don't think the pre-orders were flooding in, just because it's a small audience at this moment in time. It takes kind of a different mindset to accept the Ecat as being a valid technology. It's certainly not something that you'll learn from mainstream media or mainstream science. Basically, what Rossi is claiming is considered to be completely impossible from the standpoint of established expertise in matters of science and technology. So you have to be somewhat outside of the mainstream to be able to, at this point at least, accept that the Ecat is something that's possible. And to me, I've always kind of had a strong confidence that it's a real and a valid and very promising technology, and that's just based on my intuition, I suppose you could say. Just my study and my especially personal contacts with Andrea Rossi, and just my observations, I've always felt that it was very he was very serious and very dedicated and very hardworking man. And I think, like many pioneers, he has had to deal with a lot of negative reactions, and a lot of people who have dismissed him because he's doing something that no one's done before. And he has shown incredible persistence in my mind. And I think that's something that we can all learn from. I mean, just in life itself, whatever endeavor you're engaged in, persistence and work and self-belief, I think, are very important traits to develop and to persist in. And I've been very impressed with how dedicated he's been. So anyway, we're at a different phase now. I think we're waiting, because while the pre-order threshold has been met, there are other things we're waiting for now. And I think at this point, we are basically waiting for the production facilities to begin. My understanding is that the factory is in place and the partner is in process of modifying an existing building. Rossi has said a couple of comments just recently, last couple of days, on his website. Someone asked him, "Dear Andrea, God bless you, can you comment on when the first pre-order payment requests have or will be made, and the possible timescale for the first deliveries of the Ecat to waiting customers?" And he says, I am not yet able to respond, but it will happen as soon as possible. Someone else commented today saying that commenting on the catastrophic fires in California, he says, this is the commenter named Richard, often these fires are started by power lines that are blown down by the wind, causing arcs that start the fires. These entire areas will need to be rebuilt. It would be a great blessing if your partner could announce that Ecats will be available to supply power to these areas when they are rebuilt, so that there will be no need for these wind-vulnerable power lines in the future. Best wishes. And Andrea Rossi says, thank you for your trust. We take notice of your suggestion. Yes, I watched the news of the fire. We are making all our efforts to accelerate the deliveries. And I mean, you can't really ask for more than that. Who knows what is involved in getting things ready, but obviously there's going to be equipment required. There's going to be employees. There's going to be when deliveries, there's going to have to be all kinds of packaging and shipping and quality control. Who knows? It's any kind of industry where you have to make things and deliver them. It's not something that can be done instantly. So anyway, waiting is part of the game. My advice is, my personal experience is, you've just got to get on with your life. You can't just sit around and wait for things to happen. You've got a life to live. You've got things to do, and you've just got to live your life to the best you can and hope for the best when it comes to the Ecat. And I'm hopeful. I've learned to be patient, and I'll continue to be patient, and try and live as full a life as I can in the meantime. And thank you for your continued interest and attention. I'll talk to you again soon.